Welcome back to another episode of the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and me, Steve King. On this episode, there is a whole lot to talk about, starting with the Bellator 251 recap, Inside the Matrix number 2, UFC Vegas 13 recap, bunch of news, and then XFC coming up, Bellator 252 coming up, KSW. There's a women's fight finally, UFC Vegas 14. Just a bunch of news really this week. We'll start out with the Bellator 251 recap, where as you can see there, Janae Harding, our girl, Janae Harding, beat the ever living shit out of Jessie Mill. It was a beautiful, beautiful performance from Janae Harding. It was phenomenal.
Unfortunately, I missed most of this. I don't remember why. What was this on Thursday night? Because of the football game, I think, or something. I've been very busy these past couple of days, but I missed most of this. But yeah, I was very surprised to see that Janae did dominate as well as she did. Apparently, right? I mean, it seemed like she would pretty much beat her everywhere. I mean, you tell me, man.
Yeah, I mean, she did. Janae was the dominant fighter. As you can see, 30-27, all from the judges. That's correct. That's right. Mill, she had some times when she did well, yeah, mainly on the ground when she got Janae on the ground, but also Janae flipped her a few times. She kind of was on top a lot. It was a surprising but great performance from Janae Harding. She made it clear that she's there to play in that division, at the 145 division in Bellator. She's not a fucking joke. She's getting better and better every time out. She's only 26 years old. She's looks better every fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the perfect win for her, rebounding off of that last fight, where it was like flashes of that typical brilliance we have seen from her before, and then, getting exposed a bit at the same time. Like the Bell fight was really weird, right? Like we didn't really expect it to go that way and everything, but then comes out and getting this win in clear fashion. And it's kind of funny if you look at this picture, like it looks like she has more damage on her face and everything, but
I think that was from a headbutt. That was also from a headbutt. So that wasn't from Janae get fucked up. That was from a headbutt.
Just an accident, yeah.
And I think that was in the first round or early second round. Her corner took care of that cut. It looked bad. It looked bad. It was. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit. Oh, come on.
A little worrisome.
Yeah, not to Janae. Not to Janae.
Yeah, that was.
But she did fine with it, and props to her cut man or cut woman. I think it was a man. Props to them for taking care of that cut, because it looked pretty fucking gnarly. And welcome, Stamina. Yes. Luana Pinheiro is getting her Vaseline on her face right now. Stephanie Frosto, sister of Zoila Frosto, is already in the cage. This is for Contender Series.
Schedule is all over the place, so we forgot about the Contender Series happening.
Well, literally, when were we going to do it though? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Contender Series today. Thursday is Bellator, a title fight.
Yeah, this was the best time.
I mean, honestly, like when Friday after everything's done.
Yeah, nah. So it is what it is. It should be a good fight, though. Tell me how it goes.
I literally have it on my TV right now watching. I am gonna pick Stephanie Frosto before this fight starts. I know that Luana Pinheiro is probably the better fighter. I'm picking Frosto. She has a nice Muay Thai.
Yeah,
much like
being related
much like
to
her sister. I mean,
exactly.
Stephanie. Yeah, or I mean Zoila.
Yeah.
Okay, so one Inside the Matrix 2 recap. I did not see this. Bo Meng beat Priscilla Goal by punches, right? What was it? A ground and pound?
Yes.
It was ground and pound, right?
I mean, that's how it was finished. But man, you could pull this up right now because it was so quick. 1 minute twenty
Yeah,
six
1 minute
seconds. I
26
mean,
seconds. Yeah.
um, yeah, no, it was pretty much a one shot, one big. I think it was a left hand, put her down, kind of like launched her, and then she finished it with strikes after that. But man, Bo Mang, dude, I mean, somebody to really watch at in the atomweight division here of one. 115-pound atom weight division, that is. But the most notable for being the only person to have a win over Zhang Wei Li. But,
Hmm.
apparently, according to Meng, the fight was amateur. And I think that Wei Li has also said that it was an amateur bout. So, just kind of a miscalculation on the records there. But either way, she was able to get a win over Wei Li. And then since then, she actually has put on, a pretty good career. Like sometimes when you see these wins, or I mean the losses for uh future UFC champions, like remember Jose Aldo always had the one loss, back in the day against some guy, and then that guy, it's just kind of one of those things where
Well, it's like
they get the
Israel
win over.
Adesanya,
Yeah, and like nothing ends up really happening with that fight or whatever. But
John Jones, for fuck's sake.
yeah, yeah. Um, Bo Meng, though, man, she's
A
putting together
loss.
a very good career. So far, 15-5, still 24 years old, riding a five-fight winning streak with four finishes. I mean, she is a legit prospect, man. So,
Yeah.
I definitely encourage you guys to check out this win if you didn't see it. It's not a very long fight, very impressive. Just kind of a quick starching from, the China representative here. But yeah, Bo Meng is awesome to watch, and her last loss came to Lilia Shakarova. So I mean, kind of shows you a little bit something there, I guess. But yeah, I mean, she's on a roll right now, so good win for her, no doubt. And not much to break down, but it was a nice finish. Definitely check it out.
1 minute 26 seconds is not a whole long time.
You know what? I'm tempted to actually bring it up here because I posted it the other day. So I will show you guys it. And it will risk getting us in trouble.
Risky
Let's see
business.
here. Risky business. But I mean, hey, the event
Oh
was
shit.
free.
Oh
Is it over? Is the contender fight over?
yes.
What
Pinheiro
happened?
knocked out Frosto.
Damn.
Yeah, first round.
Bad?
Yeah, it was very good, very good knockout from Pinheiro.
That was pretty quick. The fight like just started.
Yeah, damn it. Okay,
Oh,
I mean, I
oh,
knew I knew that she was obviously the better fighter, but I mean, holy shit! Boom, left, and then a few shots when she's on the ground.
yeah, that's
Oh, she
that's
missed with the right, and then she came heavy with the left, and then Frosto went down, and Pinheiro just fucking gave her a bunch of tonnage on the ground. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the ground. So missed with the right, hit with the left bomb, hit her again, and then 5 fucking rights and the left in there. Woo!
damn.
Yeah, yep,
Oh,
yep, yep.
sounds like a contract to me just from
Oh,
that.
100% contract. Give that girl a contract for sure. She's marketable as fuck too.
Very nice. Congratulations to her.
Oh,
Whether she gets contract or not.
she should. Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, Dana White's giving out contracts to everybody who gets knockouts. So
Seems like it.
yeah.
So,
Woo, that
all
was
right.
that was nice. I'm glad that happened when we were on. Okay.
Good timing there. And we'll finish up here the one review here with that highlight from Bo Meng. So here it is, everybody.
Oh, it's super
Just
slow.
bam.
Boom. Oh, yeah. She caught her with the right.
Launched her, dude.
Yeah, that was nice.
Look at this replay.
Oh, peace. Boom. Right.
Gnarly, man. Somebody to watch. Oh, that was nice. I love that. That was a great knockout.
Yeah, for sure.
So keeps it going.
Woo, that was nice.
So so yes, big win for Bowman. Keeps the momentum rolling, and we keep rolling on to oh wow, China just good. It's what a week for them.
UFC Vegas 13 recap. Starting out with Xiaonan. She beat Gadiglia. I mean, this is exactly how we kind of said it would go. I said yet last week, Gadiglia had to take it to the ground. First round, she took it to the ground,
Hmm.
right? And she looked good. Second and third rounds, not so much. She wanted to fucking stand and bang, and she got what was coming.
Yeah, yep. I mean, and she didn't set up her takedowns whatsoever as the fight went on. In rounds two and three, just kind of loosely shot in, not even shot in, just kind of tried to get close. And I mean, just Xiaonan shut her down. The jab kept her back and everything. Like just excellently executed performance from Xiaonan. Unsurprisingly, less
Yeah,
volume from her regularly, but if she would have been more active with striking, then it would have opened up more opportunities for takedowns for Claudia, which seemed like that is all she would have been able to do in this situation because she just really was unable to set up anything to get the fight there. Kind of when she was at her freshest, took things down early, which not surprising there. And I still gave Xiaonan the first round because really Claudia was not that active from the top or anything, and Xiaonan was just landed better shots, even though she got controlled mostly in the grappling in that round. So yeah,
I
either
would
way
give that
though,
round. I would give that round to Gedalia. I mean, just because of the top control and stuff. I mean, she did get
yeah,
the
she did have a lot.
she did get the two takedowns in that round, and I mean, she had like 6 minutes of control or something like that.
Yeah, 4 minutes it says here on the
I
first
think it was.
round.
Oh yeah, well, 4 minutes in
Oh,
the first
six in
round,
six in
6 in
total.
total, right? Because the third
But the
round, I
the
think,
third round control was against the cage though, so I
right?
mean
Yeah.
that's like a stalemate position. So
Oh yeah, it says right there,
yeah.
6 minutes 46 seconds. Yeah, but the
Hmm.
the the whole round, the whole first round was Gedalia on top, basically.
Yeah, some cage time
But
there, but
but
yeah.
also Xiaonan was hitting her from the bottom.
Oh yeah, yeah, landed some good elbows.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good
Love
fight
it.
from Xiaonan. It was a good fight from Xiaonan. Gedalia is just it. I feel like she's the gatekeeper at this point. Like she's the gatekeeper to get in, to get to the top, maybe five and up, six and up, seven and up, maybe. I just don't see her ever getting back uh, to that championship level. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of like it reminds me of a Carolina situation a little bit, Carolina Kovalevich, where
Yeah, but I think
the
Adalia is better because of that because of that takedown. If she ever just gets it through her thick skull, if she ever gets it through her thick skull to take the fighters down and keep it that way through 3 rounds, she might win a couple fights. And then I'll have to backtrack my statement of being a gatekeeper. But at this point, seeing what we've seen, what the past 3 fights from her, she wants to strike. And dude, that's not your game. Like, okay, sure, MMA, you got to strike a little bit, but if you're better on the ground than virtually everybody other than Tatiana Suarez and Carla Esparza, why not do it? Right?
yeah, I no, you're definitely right, but I don't know. I feel like in this fight she did want to, just because we did see her go for it early on in the fight, but then Zhao Nan just adjusted phenomenally and kept her off afterwards. But yeah, for the most part, definitely she has shied away from her strength and everything. It just has not
It's
been
so
able to keep
weird.
keep up with yeah the new influx of talent in the division, and that's what I was comparing her to Carolina in, where it's like these were the original elites of the strawweight division, especially Claudia was in that top three for really a long time, but now everybody's just kind of coming in and passing her by a little bit. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
And
it
that's
sucks, but it
why I kind
happens.
of say that she's like the gatekeeper at this point. I mean, it's unfortunate because she's put on really great performances, but it just hasn't been lately. Like you said, they're kind of passing her by. Xiaonan is the new style of fighter now,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
she got pretty much served. Okay, so Salmon said, I hear you on the KK comparison, but Gedalia was higher level in her finest hours for sure.
Mm-hmm.
She was championship level, where KK really wasn't like.
He was close, but not
She
quite
was,
there.
yeah, she was a a good striker. She didn't have anything else, whereas Gedalia was better than. Thus, her decline is way more of a fucking swan dive off a cliff. Yeah, it's just it's weird. Like why? Uh, Gianni, I fucking hate that guy. Sorry.
Comes on the screen and throws you all the way off.
Fuck you, Gianni, you fake
He's
bitch.
a leather boy.
Um, yeah. So it's just so weird. So Yusuf, welcome Yusuf. Will Xiaonan be a potential champ, dude?
You already
I
know, man. If you know, if you know me.
Man, it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Would love to see her fight Wiley, right?
Oh, yes. Fight would be so fucking good. Will be so good. It's gonna happen. I
It
believe. I
has to,
really
like,
believe it.
eventually, right? But I mean, she's ranked number 3, so she's almost there.
Dude, okay. Hear me out here. Of course, I'm a little biased. A huge Xiaonan is one of my top two right now. Has been for quite a while now. She's the top contender now. 6 fights in a row in the UFC winning streak, and I mean, none of them have been really close. The closest one was the Angela Hill fight, but that's literally the closest closest one. Excuse me. And still unanimous decisions in all these fights. And the other contender, the top contender in my opinion, would be Carla Esparza. These two deserve the title shot the most. Of course,
Yeah.
Rose looks to be getting it next for, you
Yeah.
know, I see the reasons why, but in terms of just looking at, everything from a pure standpoint and who's doing the best right now, the most work, adding onto the resumes and everything, it's these two. And if you're going to compare the winning streaks, Carla's 4 in a row to Xiaonan's 6 in a row, Carla's fights have been closer than Xiaonan's, but at the same time, she's fought more ranked people. So, I mean, it's like really close, like which one you go with. And in terms of who's a more exciting fighter, I think many would definitely go with Xiaonan. I love watching both of them fight because I just love fighting in all styles and all that. But I think that Xiaonan's, the length of it, the dominance of it all, I don't know. I think she's number one now, but I don't think they'll give it to her next over, I mean, Rose, I guess, because it's not official. So it's like, could it happen? I don't know. That's a fight they have to do that in China, right? That has to absolutely happen in China. It would be monumental. So assuming everything works out as it should, um, you do Rose and Whaley as we're totally expecting, and then Carla and Xiaonan is the obvious, absolute obvious title
Yeah, but
next contender
do you
fight.
want to see Xiaonan fight Carla?
Great test. It's a great test. I mean,
Does
Yusuf says,
anybody
"Let's be
want to
real." What's that?
Does anybody want to fight Carla?
True.
Yusuf
Yusuf
said,
says,
let's be real, JJ next. And then he added, if Wiley wins, right? Like,
uh,
I think that Joanna, I don't think so. It was a hell of a fight. Obviously, it was a hell of a fight, and does she deserve it after that fight? I mean, some people had her winning. I don't think that Joanna will get a title shot next. No, I do not think that.
the only thing, I would say yes if she hadn't fought for the title so often recently. And I mean, I don't
That
know.
doesn't stop Holly
I
Holm
don't know.
from fighting for the title.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's and also in this division, like think about sure you just mentioned Holly Holm. This division though, there are viable
Oh
contenders.
yeah,
It's similar to
it's such a good division. It's a great division. I mean, we say it every week that it's one of the best in all of MMA.
yeah, like you don't need to hold it up. As great as a fight as it was, you can
Yeah,
match Joanna with any of these other top fighters. Like do Joanna and Xiaonan if you want. That's an amazing fight too. It'll be
that would be
just as good.
fun.
I
That would be
mean, and
fun.
that would be an awesome fight to have. Even though I still think Joanna and Tatiana is the perfect one to do. But I mean, the point is, like, we don't need it just yet when there's all these other awesome options. I mean, even Rebus in the mix. Watterson coming back. All these
Yeah.
people still climbing that you can match. You could even do Joanna versus Angela Hill. Like, there's just so many different names and matchups to make that would be very exciting. Where you don't have to go back to the well in this division just yet. Like, let the freshness happen, right? So let things be fresh here.
No, yeah, I
So
totally agree. I'm with you. I mean, I think that Rose will probably get the next title shot. I mean, that's literally what everybody's talking about. That's what Dana White has said himself. The matter of it's the matter of doing it. I
yeah,
I think maybe the next time they go to Fight Island, they might do it because how else? They're not going to have Wiley come to Vegas, right?
I mean they could. I mean Xiaonan just did, and it costs her a whole lot more money than it probably will Wei Li. But
Yeah.
man, Xiaonan financially, if you guys caught my interview, cheap plug, financially, it really fucked her that Claudia had to pull out from the initial date and she had to stay for an extra month. Like, you know, that's a chunk of cash she's not getting back. I mean,
Yusuf
she got the
says,
win and everything, so kind of, but still.
yeah. Yusuf says UFC should do Val versus Whaley after Rose because she could lose at straw weight potentially. Yeah, I don't think that they're
Good
going to do that.
point, but no.
I think
It's a good point.
if anything, if they go Valentina versus anybody, it will be Amanda Nunes for the third time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a great point, Yusuf, because she could definitely get beaten by all these great contenders. But yeah, it
Yeah.
also seems like well, first of all, too soon to do that in my opinion. Whaley only has one title defense and all that. Then she would potentially have two after this. Still too soon, and it seems like UFC is kind of moving away from well, I was gonna say moving away from the super fights or champion versus champion fights, but Adesanya is apparently about to get his, so maybe not. But either way, it's one of those things where no, you do not you don't need to do this for Whaley and the strawweight division because it's the strawweight division. So yeah, I hope that doesn't. It would be a great fight, of course. I'd love to see Whaley versus Valentina, but not necessary
It'd
whatsoever.
be such a
So
fun fight. I mean, yeah, it would be a fun fight. But as far as like Whaley's division, she has a lot to go through, whereas
yeah,
Valentina doesn't. And
it's like TJ moving down to fight Cejudo. Fun, but totally unnecessary.
yeah, it's
Totally
totally
unnecessary.
unnecessary. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
all right.
All right, so news: Amanda
I'm so
Lowen
excited about this.
will take on Felicia Spencer at Submission Underground number 19 for
Stacked.
the dude. Crazy. Like, I think that some of those fights will fall through because UFC
Yeah.
fighters, you, big MMA fighters, typically on these cards like this, it doesn't happen. Like, I mean, anything could happen to Dos Anjos now that he's fighting Felder. All of a sudden, holy
Hmm.
shit! Like Felder, dude, that fucking guy stepped up huge. Cannot wait for that fight. Um, Bader and Derek Lewis. That's a that's such a weird one.
Yeah, that's definitely the wild card.
Rumble and Verdum. Like that dude is
He's
the
gonna just
legit black belt
pretzel him.
ever, and Rumble Johnson is going up against him. Like it's crazy.
I
It's
love that
awesome.
Rumble is willing to do that because he took on Craig Jones the first time, right? It's like, dude has to know he had no chance.
Right, and I'm pretty sure that he knows he has no chance against Verdum,
Yeah.
who is like a 10 stripe black belt. Like the dude's a master.
Yeah, but and then even Fowler and Ishii, which we haven't even mentioned. That one's the most interesting, probably.
Ishii, the judo dude, judo throwing, and then fucking going into arm bars and stuff. Ishii's a beast. That's fun.
Yeah, in
So
grappling.
anyway,
I think
getting
that Ishii is incredibly boring in MMA, but yeah, this should be fun.
yeah, for MMA, but for a grappling tournament, he can
Yes.
use his judo throws, and then he can go into that arm bar which he does and stuff like that. But getting back to Lowen and Felicia
Hmm.
Spencer, pretty crazy that Felicia Spencer is in this, and I mean
Hmm.
she might beat Amanda Lowen.
Okay, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
wild. Amanda Lowen. I mean, we've talked about it. Amanda Lowen is one of the best female jiu-jitsu players out there. It's going to take a lot for anybody to beat her, including Felicia Spencer.
Yes, absolutely. But I will say though, I love that this is who they brought in for Lowen because we've been talking about who they could bring in, and I'm not really going to give anybody much of a chance against Lowen that doesn't have a pure BJJ background like outside of MMA, right? Like that's just a logical thing to do because that is what Lowen is, a pure BJJ black belt and only
Yeah,
practice it. I mean, she it does have an amateur career in MMA, but I mean, she doesn't really train for MMA that much. And I don't know if she will even fight again. But the point is, she is a featherweight though. She has competed in the featherweight division as an amateur in MMA and everything, and she just is a featherweight human woman, however you want to put it. That's just the weight that she lives at and fights at, all that stuff. And now taking on another featherweight, one of the best featherweights. I like that it's an equal size kind of matchup here, and Felicia does. She's a black belt as well. It's not at the same level, obviously, but I think that the size makes it more fun and interesting to see. You know,
yeah. It's not like Jillian Robertson, who's tiny.
yeah, yeah, no
You
just
know, Felicia
mismatches.
Felicia Spencer is a big girl.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be fun to see, Lowen dealing. It makes you fantasize about like, man, if Lowen would have really committed to MMA, like this is the best we could get. Seeing that potential of her, how she would fare against the top featherweight female fighters in her same division, just without the striking, which she'll probably win against everybody except for like Cyborg and Nunes, which she could still beat them in the grappling. It's just obviously a lot closer than pretty much anybody else. So in that division. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for all of these if they hold up. As you said, that's a good
Yeah,
point. Good fear to have.
it's pretty crazy when I
I want to
saw that.
be at this show actually, but probably I don't know. I doubt they're letting people still.
I don't think so. Yeah. Um, it's pretty crazy when I saw that. When I saw them post this, I was like, "Holy shit! Is this a fucking MMA fight card or what?"
I know. Loaded to close out the year. So
Pretty wild.
awesome though. Love it. JLP doing things right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
and more
Okay,
big
so
news.
we've been talking about
I know.
PFL
What a
being
coincidence.
complete shit for like the past month or whatever it is every week. Here we go. Kayla Harrison is fighting in Invicta against or she's making her featherweight debut against Courtney King. Crazy. Like this is hitting everything that we've talked about. Is she able to make 145? We will see. Can she fight elsewhere? Will PFL ever let their fighters fight elsewhere? Here it is. She's fighting in Invicta. I will say that PFL did say no Bellator and no UFC, which is fucking bullshit. Still, at least they're letting their fighters go to Invicta. Here we see Kayla Harrison going Invicta.
Yeah, she should still try to get out of that, because this is a consolation prize, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think that she needs to go out somewhere else. I mean, I she has said that she is she looks forward to the 2021 season in PFL. She's saying all the right things right now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that she's able to fight somewhere else, more than just this one fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the most intriguing thing about all of this for me is probably the fact that okay, she's willing to make the 145 cut. She's
Right.
willing to attempt this part of things, which we were really up in the air about. And a shout out to Head Kick Steve, who comes on every now and then, and his thought that she's just too big, probably, which fair to say, but that her willing to be going down to 145 makes me think like, oh, maybe she doesn't care so much about Bellator and the Cyborg idea that I have had in mind, just because I still think Cyborg would not care to have the fight at 155. Like, I think she would be down for that, just for the competition aspect and, letting Kayla come on in. And I mean, I guess the door is still there just because going to 145, it makes it more, you can hype that up better for having the belt on the line potentially in a Cyborg Harrison matchup. But at the same time, working with Invicta, 145, signs just point to wanting to be, the ultimate goal would then be fighting Nunes, right? But as long as PFL's involved, that is not, they're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, they literally said anywhere else other than Bellator and UFC.
That's just so fucking silly, man. Like, just you guys haven't had a show, man. Just like be reasonable.
Like it's just gamesmanship at this point. So they're not willing. What they're doing is they're pulling the UFC on their fighters. They're not willing to let their fighters fight elsewhere. Just because we say no. They don't want Bellator and the UFC getting their name fighters, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird though, because I mean, people have jumped across from both organizations before in the past, as we've seen with Rory recently, and I mean, there's some others. The Nurmagomedov, Habib's his brother or cousin, I forget his first name. There's a couple. No, not him. Abubakar.
Yeah.
Yeah, some instances like that. But either way, in the end, it's just good that they are letting Kayla fight. In general, of course, she's not going to make as much money at all. She's not going to make as much money compared to what she was making in her, the tournament and all that.
She made $1 million.
Yeah,
making $1 million in Invicta.
So with that in mind too, it's like, okay, see, this kind of proves to you that it might be more about the competition side of things for her now that she's already made that money, and the fact that she is willing to try and get to 145 shows you, man, that she just wants to test herself.
It answers a lot of questions that we've literally, all of us, you, me, and everybody else who watches this show on a weekly basis, Stamina, Steve, Yusuf, Dave, literally everybody, every time that we talk about Kayla Harrison and the PFL, we all have the same exact questions. All of us. So that means if all of us are thinking the same thing, that means literally the whole MMA community is thinking the same thing. Now we get our fucking answer with Kayla Harrison, how she's going to do at 145 against a true 145 fighter in Courtney King.
Yep.
We'll see. I mean, it's 10 days. We're going to see it not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Yeah. And I'm going to assume that they've known about this for longer than this was announced, like 2 days ago or whatever.
Yeah, I would assume so. I would assume that they've known for probably a month or so. Yeah. They just didn't, or at least a couple of weeks. But I mean, Kayla Harrison is always training. She's in great.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's in great shape. She's always going to be thick. Her legs are the size of my whole body, and I'm not small. But she's always training. She's always in the gym. it's going to be interesting to see what happens at 145. How that weight cut will make her feel and look in a fight. We have yet to see it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, we will get to see it.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly I wouldn't have been mad if they gave Kayla like an immediate title shot. I think that would have been. Well, no, okay, I would because we haven't seen her make 145 yet. But point
Yeah.
is,
I think that's why they didn't. I mean,
yeah.
do you think Pam Sorensen is taking that fight?
Well, not if she hasn't made weight before. So
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is do you think Pam Sorensen is taking the fight if we haven't seen Kayla Harrison actually make 145 yet?
yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think that
Seems risky.
Pam would be like, nah, this girl can't even make 145. You know.
Yeah. So,
But also Pam Sorensen is a good sport, so maybe she would
indeed.
fight.
But I was setting up the segue there for the sad news, the unfortunate news about Pam Sorensen.
Dude.
So,
Pam Sorensen is out until 2021. She's gonna have surgery on 2 ovarian cysts. Get better, Pam. Get better.
yep.
It's tough, man.
Yep. So, yeah, it sucks because we haven't seen her fight, and it feels like forever now. She hasn't fought this year, right? I
She
mean,
hasn't fought at all this year. Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna just vacate the belt at this point.
nah, they should just wait for her. I mean, not like much is happening in that division. So,
No, I mean it's true. But if Kayla Harrison beats Courtney King rather quickly, which could very well happen, do they
yeah.
do they automatically put her on like the next card? Which Invicta time it could be a month and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's 2 weeks away. It's Invicta takes their time with fight cards. So I mean, I could see them putting Kayla Harrison on a card rather quickly.
Yeah, I mean, depending on PFL schedule and all, but like they're not
Well,
coming
they're
back
supposed
this
to
year, right? So
start off in April.
yeah,
That's in 4, 5, 6 months away.
yeah. Kayla could fight on every Invicta card up until right. I mean,
Yeah,
hypothetically,
yeah. I mean, it just depending. Yeah, just depending on who her opponents are. I mean, we'll get more into it next week, but Kayla Harrison. I mean, you have to give her the edge, right? I don't care about weight and all that. She's just the better fighter. I mean, that's what it is.
like it's Pam or King.
No, against King.
Okay,
Pam,
yeah.
yeah, against Pam Sorensen, I would definitely give Pam Sorensen
Fun
that
fight, fun
for
fight.
sure. It would be fun though. Yeah,
So,
but get better, Pam Sorensen.
yes, indeed.
You're beloved by everybody, by Drake and I for sure.
Yeah, underrated personality too, and just a
Yeah,
genuine
she
person.
kicks ass, man. She really does.
Yeah.
Like in a couple different ways.
Yes, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, she does. And all right, Yusuf, we don't make predictions until right before the fights, but I will tell you I am leaning towards Chukagian myself, but I don't know. We will see. That's just how I feel about it. Steve, any comments for
Yeah, I'm
Mr.
leaning
Yusuf?
Calvillo.
Yeah, so no official pick from me just yet, but yeah, that's where we are on that.
Probably my official. I don't flip flop very often.
The
Unless if
more I think about stuff, I tend to flip
Unless
a
if
little bit.
Calvillo has a terrible weight cut or something like that, then I mean I would go for Chikasian. But
Yeah, I doubt that'll happen for Calvillo at 125.
right.
So, all right, more featherweight news and not good featherweight news.
It's like
Jeez,
this is terrible.
yeah,
It's terrible.
bad
Amanda
pile up.
Nunes is out of her fight against Megan Anderson, whom you see on the screen, for UFC 256. Megan Anderson tweeted out, wishing Amanda a speedy recovery. UFC are rescheduling the bout for a date early next year. The goal remains the same. We'll be ready. But then she put out a video
Mm-hmm.
today on her YouTube page. Go check that out if possible. Um, it kind of made me like emotional for her. I don't typically get emotional for fighters, but god damn it, Megan Anderson has been waiting for a title shot.
Since before the UFC.
She's been waiting for a title shot for so long. Like it's just been a really bumpy road for her, many hills and valleys for her. She got emotional because she said that her last fight was in February. She hasn't been paid, and she's not going to be paid all the way up until this fight. Like, that's the one thing. And what like killed me was she mentioned the fighters who she's seeing fight 4 times this year, but yet she's only fought once. Like, it really like sat with me where, fuck, I hate the way that these contracts are. I hate the way that that these promotions don't give something to fighters when things like this happen. This is literally nothing that Megan Anderson did. It's not Megan Anderson's fault whatsoever that she's not fighting. Now she has to wait till God knows when. I know she says early next year, but early next year could be March. So that means February to March. She hasn't been paid by the UFC. That's a whole year. Can you and I make one full year without getting paid? Fuck no, dude. I wouldn't be able to live. Can anybody live like that? Can anybody live like that? I know there's little opportunities for fighters. You know, sure, she can go get another job waitressing. I mean, I get it. Other fighters do it, but this was a title fight. This was where fighters live to get to, fight to get to a title fight against literally the best fighter ever, the best female fighter ever. Like, it sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. She's totally classy about it.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that she's putting out, you know, her video, and then of course this response right here. This was literally right after she found out what's on the screen there. But you feel for these fighters, man, especially Megan Anderson. I feel for her.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, summed it up pretty good there. It's a big bummer, and for me as somebody who's been relatively close to Megan for a long time now, it's kind of crazy going back to like 2016. I think is when we first kind of interacted, and that was before she was even Invicta champion. Been watching her journey very closely, and just the long road she's taken, been so much so much shit kind of out of her control, and just nonsense that she's had to put up with.
Yeah, that's wild.
It sucks, but will only make her stronger. She's one of those people who is shown to take these moments and build off of them. So nothing new, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. So
This is the part of MMA, the fight game, that I really despise. I hate seeing fighters give everything that they have, literally spill blood for our enjoyment, and for their lives, for their livelihood, and then it get taken away so easily from them. And then now she doesn't know. Again, she doesn't know when she's going to get paid.
yeah. Yeah, and it sucks because then it's like, oh, what? If I want to get paid, I take a fight and risk my title shot, right?
Right. Going the Joanne Calderwood route. How did that work out?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit different, but yeah. So either way, and we wish the champ the best, which sounds
For
like
sure.
it was.
I mean, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to her. Personal reasons, right?
Man, we don't need to know. Like, it's not our business. So
Right. And that's exactly what Megan said. She was like, I don't even need to know what happened to her. It's just get better.
she's been in that position herself, that's why.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I think that's the right thing to do. I
Yeah.
think that's the right way to feel. Is it's not really our business. If it gets put out there, then we know. But I mean, I'm not wondering what happened to Amanda Nunes. I mean, I am wondering what happened to her, but I'm not like speculating at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah.
We just hope that Amanda Nunes gets better.
Yep. Just that everything's okay with her, and
Right.
that she can we can rebook this for as soon as we can. So
Early next year,
yeah.
we can hope. I guess. I mean, whenever early next year is, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's
Will
not
it
gonna.
ever come?
Yeah.
So, and we got an answer to another thing we've been speculating for weeks
Tracy
now.
Cortez is going to fight in the flyweight division, dude. Thank you. Like we've literally again, this is something that we've all talked about.
Took her 2 fights.
They took her a couple fights. She won those fights, and now she has said that she's the smaller person at 135. Well, yeah, you're tiny. Go fight at 125 where you're not going to be so tiny. Well, you'll be a normal height and a normal weight, and maybe
And where her career was anyways before. So I mean,
right. Yeah. So goodbye bantamweights. Hello flyweights again for
yep.
Tracy Cortez.
Perfect. It's what we've been waiting for. What made sense from the beginning, and we were confused about the bantamweight fight. So happy that
So adorable, bro.
knows too. And I'd probably. I mean, both divisions could use her, I guess, but we could see the ceiling where it was at bantamweight as she climbed the ladder. Just the matchups were
It would have
not
been so
gonna be
hard
good.
for her. Yeah,
They
it
were
would have been
not.
so hard for her once she reached the top, the top 15.
Yeah, exactly. So smart choice, and yeah, excited for that and see who she gets matched up with. They didn't say any
No,
fights yet or anything, but yeah. So there's some good news,
yeah, good news.
and
Finally, Jesus, took
some
a few minutes.
yeah, and some more good flyweight news, I would say,
Yes, it just broke literally
right before the show. Yep.
right before we started here. Alexa Grasso and Macy Barber returns. They're gonna fight each other um in February, right? Is it February? Yeah, February 13th, day before Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to us. That's a beautiful fight.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting. I a little surprised by the matchmaking. Just because Grasso is pretty well established. I mean, in comparison, consider looking at the careers. But I mean, I guess they did throw Macy at Roxy, and that backfired. And
yeah,
it would be pretty goddamn impressive if Macy could look even close to dominant or finish Grasso. That would be very, very impressive considering the layoff and just the experience differences here. I could see
yeah,
it being close either way, but yeah, it's a very intriguing matchup and interesting that they made it. I know that you thought Alexa looked better at flyweight in her debut than I did, but she still,
yeah.
won pretty convincingly and all that. So yeah, this is an interesting one. Look forward to it. It's a ways away though.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. Another thing that we can't stand is these fights that are being made for months out. Literally anything can happen in between now and February. I mean, that's what, 4 months away.
Yeah, yeah. So
That was broke by C. Contreras Legaspi
okay,
for
who that is.
Millenio.com.
Very nice.
Millenio.com. Or maybe it was Millennium.com and UFC Espanol. No, it's Millennium.com.
Got a great point by Stamina here.
Off the top, I've got Grasso. That fight will likely play out on the feet, and Grasso is a far superior striker with superior defense also. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just more refined and the
Yeah,
experience, like I said.
her boxing is fucking beautiful. It's as good as anybody in MMA.
Well, yeah, like we've said in the past, speaking about Grasso recently, I guess, when it's similar to Aldana, of course, both Lobo gym teammates, and practically sisters and all that. When they're on, man, they are fucking championship level, you know, on, if that makes sense. Like you look at that Carolina fight, of course, you can argue it was Carolina, but Grasso looked like the best strawweight in the world that night. Like she was just, man, lighting her up, man, like a Christmas tree. So
Yeah,
yeah, when she's on point. And second fight at flyweight, it's hard to imagine that she won't be more comfortable, And then see if Macy is rusty at all. So yeah, it'll be good. It should be good. I'm kind of glad that they're not. I guess it's. I was gonna say that they're not throwing Grasso way up the ladder, but I guess Macy is. She's still ranked pretty high, I guess. Right. So I guess it's a little bit of both, but I don't know. Something. You're like, let me verify. Steve's on it. She's 12 to 15 range, right? Unless they removed her and I didn't see it. So
Macy is 11 and
okay.
uh, Grosso is unranked.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's about what I was getting at then.
But Grosso should be ranked.
All right, Stamina here with a quick question. He says this upcoming Ostovich-Mazani fight, is Rachel moving up or Gina moving down? From what I knew, Mazani was moving down, I think. I
Yeah,
think so.
I'm pretty sure that Mazzani's moving down. Ostovich ain't going nowhere in her weight class. I don't think. She can't move up.
She could, but she's kind of small in stature.
Right, she's small, but she's thick.
Yes, but yeah, like height wise and all that.
Yeah, but like height wise and
frame
and everything, she's small, a smaller fighter, and she loses a lot of that thickness in her weight cuts.
Yeah. I think flyweight. I know you're kind of making me question myself too now, Stamina, but I'm pretty sure Mazzani's the one moving. Obviously, one of them is moving up or down, but I think it is the bantamweight dropping. So yeah, we will see about that. But that wraps the news cycle for the week, everybody. And now we have 3 different events. Wait, let me see here. 4 different events this weekend featuring the action.
So
tomorrow
we got XFC 43. The return of Jessica Aguilar. She'll be taking on Danielle Taylor, in which should be a phenomenal fight. We talk about Danielle Taylor being a difficult fight for anybody, and I think that it's going to be a difficult fight again for Jessica Aguilar. She probably wins, right?
Who, Taylor?
No, I think Aguilar.
Yeah, it's man, it is tough because Danielle Taylor is one of those super frustrating fighters, not only to watch but for other fighters to fight, as we've seen in the past. In multiple fights, the Sohee Ham fight, the Jessica Penne fight come right to mind. She's just something. She's something is the best way to put it, I guess. Low volume, big power, bouncy.
Oh, okay, I have an answer for you guys. Ostovich and Mazzani is at 135.
Okay, so she's going up.
Ostovich is going up. She's not going to lose that thickness.
I was gonna say, man, I feel like Mazzani cutting down would fucking be a tough cut for her because she's a pretty decent sized bantamweight. But I don't know. I believed in that possibility. Either way, though, XFC 43 co-main event here. Jessica Aguilar, first fight since Marina Rodriguez, I believe, was her last UFC fight, and that was over a year and a half ago. Very tough fight for her. Just didn't have a great UFC career, but now she's back and, feeling better than ever, of course. Shameless plug, spoke to her before this fight. You can check that out on the Scraps channel here. What we're on right now. Well, no, I guess it's not on. It's on my YouTube channel, but I did it for the Scrap. Check that out, of course. Yeah, Jessica Aguilar seems like she's in a great place. She's changed things up since the UFC. Not at ATT anymore. Main Street Boxing
Yeah,
and Muay Thai down there in Houston with Lauren Murphy and Derek Lewis. Of course, not training a whole bunch with Derek Lewis because he's a big heavyweight and everything. But she did help Lauren Murphy with that training camp. So it's
did.
like she was in a pre camp and transitioned into her own camp afterwards. So she's been ready for a little bit now to get back in action and just feeling healthy this time for the first time in a while because she was banged up a lot of that UFC run.
Yeah,
Um, so man, yeah, I'm very excited and curious to see what we see from this final run. Jessica Aguilar, who's one of the greatest strawweights of all time, pioneer, and taking on the very tricky, frustrating Danielle Taylor. But I will say, she said she likes the fight, and especially the fact that you know she fought Jodie Esquibel, the one UFC win that she got, and kind of compares the two, which I can see that comparison, and she ended up winning that fight. I still think that Jodie, most people put out more volume than Danielle Taylor does. Jodie, uh, as well, but in terms of size and everything, very similar there. Jodie to Danielle Taylor, so she like Jessica Aguilar, like that comparison with Taylor to Jodie, but yeah, it'll be interesting, man. It's just it'll probably be fucking close and annoying, like a Daniel Taylor fight is, unfortunately. But the experience and everything is obviously in Jag's favor, and if she gets a hold of Taylor, then she should very well be able to win. It's just a matter of doing that and not getting hit every now and then and lose on points in a fight that she's walking forward the whole time, right? Like that's just how it goes. That's how it goes with Daniel Taylor. But hopefully,
yeah.
we see
She's
some
such a
sweet
tough fight.
Jessica Aguilar ground and pound. Yeah. So
Who are you picking in this fight? Are you going Aguilar or Taylor?
yeah, I think that Jessica will be able to get a hold of her enough and make it
Yeah,
kind of a gritty fight. But dude, it's just like just knowing how Daniel Taylor is, I think it'll be close. I think
yeah,
Jessica will get a split decision. Like it'll be frustrating, but I think that the veteranship and just the place she's in right now, everything is kind of culminated to this moment for her. Um, but yeah, it'll still be it'll still be tough for her to get it, but I think she'll do it.
yeah. I think so. I think so too. Danielle Taylor is. We say it every time that we mention her. She's such a tough fight for literally everybody that she fights. Would I be surprised if Taylor won this fight? I wouldn't be because she's so tough. But Aguilar should be the winner. Like she should be able to win this fight.
Yeah, no, it's a very good level opponent for like her comeback after
Yeah, so
everything.
long.
So
How long has it been since she's fought? Has it been like
um, I think it's
two
been
years?
like a year and like 8 months, I think.
Yeah, it's been
So
a
pretty
long
close.
time.
Yeah, but man, she says she's like totally healthy this time, like no, not even little injuries or anything. So
That's good.
that's a big
Yeah.
deal. So yeah, man, I
I
think
didn't
she
see.
should
I didn't see their weigh-ins. How does she look in weigh-ins?
looked good. Yeah, she looked
Yeah.
in good shape, toned and everything. She
Mhm.
usually comes in pretty good shape, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
How did Taylor look?
yeah, she looked good too. I mean, she's always pretty ripped as
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
seen,
She's
but
she's a good-looking girl. Yeah. Danielle Taylor is
a little fire hydrant.
yeah.
So yeah, they're both in good shape.
It's
It'll be
fun.
interesting.
Fun
It'll
fight.
be interesting. Yeah, good co-main event for the first NBC show.
Yeah.
Lots of intrigue there.
Pretty cool that it's on NBC Sports
Yep.
Network, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
so check that out, you guys. So yeah, I gotta take the pioneer, the veteran here by split decision. I think it'll unfortunately be that close, but I think that she'll still have just edge things out when in positions they need to be. But we will see. We will see. What do you
Yeah.
got? Same.
Yeah, I think that Aguilar should win this fight. But again, Taylor's so damn tough. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins. But I would like to see Aguilar win. Just because she's a fan favorite. She's a
Hmm.
favorite of. She's a pioneer in women's MMA. She's
Yeah.
been around so long, and it would be a good win for her after being out so long.
Hmm.
Um, again, Daniel Taylor's tough as fuck, so I wouldn't be surprised
Yep.
if she
So
wins, though.
looking forward to that tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
that that fight card is literally why we're on tonight
yep,
and not
that it
tomorrow.
is. Taking up our time slot. So that is
We've had the
XFC.
we've had the worst of luck the past few weeks.
Indeed. Indeed. So, all right, moving on.
Yeah, Bellator 252 preview. There's only the one fight, right? Kerry
There
Melendez.
there is actually a featherweight fight, but they're two debutants, so don't really
Kerry,
have any info there.
yeah, Kerry Melendez and Emily King. Kerry Melendez returns finally. Feels like there's with Kerry Melendez. There's just a lot of time in between her fights.
Yeah.
I believe the last one was at Bellator. What the one that we were at in San Jose?
No. Oh wait. It wasn't Zimmerman. I don't think it was 206 because that was.
Has she fought since then?
I'm pretty sure she had
I mean,
one fight since then.
she's only 4-0 right now.
Because well, we went to you were at no, you weren't at 214. What was the other one we were at?
Mm.
Not Bellator 206. That was Musasi. But the other one, the one that we didn't get to hang out at because I had too much stuff to do.
Yeah. So she okay. So she did fight at Bellator 206, where she beat Dakota
Yep.
Zimmerman, and then she essentially fights once a year, other
Was
than
that really her last fight?
No, Mandy
Okay.
Polk
Oh, right.
last October. So it's essentially been a year. She fights
Yeah.
every year in the fall sometime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't have a division to fight in, so it could be a reason why. Um,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, if she's fighting a strawweight, just be a strawweight.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I like this matchup though because, Emily King, as we talked about, what was that last week when when this kind of came out and everything? Emily King pulled off that upset against Ava Knight in her last
Yeah.
time out in January. I covered that event. Kind of a crazy moment. Didn't expect that just because Ava Knight was looking good before, but Emily King is not a joke on the ground and a similar matchup where it's striker versus grappler, I think, and pretty cut and dry like that. And we've seen Kerry Melendez struggle at times on the ground. If you look back at that Dakota Zimmerman fight, split decision. I don't remember who was the first or second round, but she was really just kind of stuck in a spot for a majority of that round and everything. And Dakota made it close enough, obviously, to where somebody thought she won, one of the judges. So yeah, Emily King has shown more. She's got more experience and just more threatening off the ground. So if she gets it down, Carrie could be in trouble. But on the feet, she should be able to do her thing as she does. So kind of a coin flip for me. And then Carrie's inactivity, but at the same time, it seems like it doesn't matter because, as you said, fights once a year, it still does does fine.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
man, I don't know.
she stays active, obviously. Yeah. Her husband is Gilbert Melendez. She's obviously gonna keep training and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it just once a year kind of loses. People don't remember you as
Mhm.
well, and she's still only 4-0. I don't know.
This fight was actually supposed to happen sooner though, but pandemic stuff happened. But
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take Emily King though. I feel like she's the ultimate upsetter, man. I remember like the vibe she was giving off during the Ava Knight post fight and everything, and just that performance was very good. I liked her grappling that she showed off there, and I think that it's fair to say Ava's probably less experienced of a grappler than Carrie is, but still, Emily probably got more experience there than both of them. So I don't know. I like her for the upset again.
She's on a 4-fight win streak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could see her finishing it, but I feel like that's the most likely way that she would win. So yeah, I'll say I'll say round two, round two submission for King with the upset. Let's go
Uh,
bold.
okay. Well, I'm taking Melendez.
The smart pick, probably.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, not necessarily because she's so inactive.
Right.
While Emily King is on a fucking roll right now. I mean, who would have seen the way that she beat Ava Knight? Not me.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was impressive.
Um, so she's on a tear, and momentum is everything in MMA. While Melendez is, like I've been saying, she fights once a year. Like
Stop and start. Stop and
yeah,
start.
it just no momentum. Maybe that's good for her. I don't know. I don't know if it's good for her. No idea. Obviously, she's 4-0. Um, it's 4-0. She's 4-0. Emily King is 4-4. It's a good matchup. I like it. I think it's pretty even. Melendez is probably the better striker, but Emily King, if she gets it to the ground, she's probably gonna wrap it up. Um, so I think Melendez, the way that she wins this fight is she keeps her distance and uses her better striking against King. Um, I don't know, it's a weird fight. It's a weird fight,
Right.
but I'll go.
It's really up there.
But I'll go Melendez.
I like it. I like it.
But again, like I wouldn't be crazy surprised that King won.
Yeah. Especially after seeing, her last fight. So,
Right. Ooh.
so, so stamina here.
Melendez mentioned moving up after this fight. Does that change anything about how you fellas feel about her potential? No, not I don't. I mean, I think that she would be better at 101 105. I think that she would be
25.
better. Or yeah.
I think that it changes how I feel about it negatively. I feel like flyweight is too good right now, and just how inactive she's been. And I mean, she's really like not too big of a strawweight or anything. Like she'd have to pack on some muscle, I think, to be really well fit for flyweight. And just like I don't know, man. I just think the division is too fucking good right now, especially in Bellator, to where
And she's 36.
yeah. And so I mean, it's a little too late for me to get excited about that. It would be nice for her to actually be in a division, of course, but yeah, I think she'd have to make some changes and whatnot to maximize that potential. But yeah, I mean, it's better than just doing what she's doing right now, I guess. But I don't know. I don't see her going very far.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the reason why she's fighting only once a year. Because she doesn't have a division.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's been fighting at strawweight, so why not fight at strawweight? You know, I mean,
Well, shit. I mean, she was asking for opponents apparently, like before this, and when Jessica Aguilar was still a free agent, she was down to fight her. That was a possibility to where Jessica Aguilar went to Bellator and fought Carrie, which stylistically, that's kind of a nightmare for Carrie. So she's lucky that that didn't
probably get
happen.
ragdolled.
Yeah,
Yeah, she get ragdolled.
but
Aguilar's would be way too big for her. I feel.
I mean, I just think stylistically it wouldn't have been great, but yeah, and in the strength and everything. So
Yeah, like she wouldn't be able to. She wouldn't be able to clinch up against the cage like she does with Aguilar. Aguilar is like a Jessica Andrade type of fighter.
a
You,
little bit.
you can't bully her. You can't bully Jessica Aguilar. So it would have been a tough fight for Melendez. That would have been super tough for her.
Yeah, and that comment you made right there is exactly why it was so goddamn impressive what Whaley was able to do to Jessica Aguilar. Like
Yeah, that's true.
like
Yeah.
we knew that at that point it seemed like Jag was dropping off a bit there, but man, you still never saw anybody do what Whaley was able to do against her, so that was madness. But
Yeah, but I mean, now we know who Whaley is.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, we knew,
in
but
in
still.
hind, in hindsight, it's not really that that shocking.
Yeah, yeah, true. Good point. But that is Bellator, everybody, and we were
Bellator is
so
going to be good.
yeah, that card is very good. The featherweights getting back in action for the tournament,
Yeah,
featherweight tournament, and
Aaron Pico's fighting.
Pico, yeah, yeah,
Really good card, fun card. Um,
indeed.
that's on Thursday night. So now KSW, dude, we were literally talking about this 2 weeks ago, where we haven't seen a women's KSW fight in how long since Lipsky, right?
It's I don't know. Nah, maybe. I mean, maybe late
I
last year. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like that we haven't seen a fight since Lipsky. I don't know. Maybe we have, and I just forgot
No,
about it.
because Avjosh here, her last fight I think was in December. So, and that was after Lipsky. So she was probably the last one, and she's fighting here.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, so Carolina Opchkas
Avjosh,
Opchkas beat
yes.
Justina, or is fighting Justina Haba, um, in the flyweight division. This is a really good fight.
This fight, yes, and yes, it is Yusuf. Answer that real quick. That is my new background. I've had this is a blanket I've had for years since my big WWE fanboy days, and I loved DX when I was growing up. So I have this, and I was like, I think that makes for a good background. But yes, this is a very good fight. Man, man, I'm really excited for this, and another shameless plug. Got plenty this episode. I did speak with Carolina before the fight. You guys can check that out on my MMA News. I absolutely love her story. It is so fascinating to me. She was a professional boxer first, and she started becoming a professional boxer by getting onto a Mexican reality TV show.
Mm-hmm.
She's Polish. She went over to Mexico, did that, and that's how she became a professional boxer. Went 4-0, quit for 5 years to become an analyst slash journalist for Polsat Sport, which is the biggest media company in Poland and everything. And then she decided to do MMA again. And the reasons for why this all happened is in my story. Please check it out. I actually really like the story and everything. So, and she's just an awesome personality, man. If you check out the chat we had, like just something about her, it has star. You can feel that star in the making vibe from her. She's just a really cool chick, and you know, as a fighter is pretty good too. 3-0, and two of those wins by submission, which shows she's kind of given up on the striking aspect or showing her well-roundedness. Um, and a very good prospect at 125, of course. But taking on Justina Haba, who is also a very good flyweight prospect. As we've seen, of course, Justina Haba, most will know from her two fights in Ryzen. The one where she
Yeah.
upset Shinju Nozawa Eclair, and then, her loss to Kana Watanabe, which absolutely no shame in that one. But she put up a pretty decent fight against Haba despite
She,
losing. You remember that one?
yeah, she went the
Yeah.
full 3 rounds, right?
Yeah. And she was kind of winning on the striking. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was yeah, Justina Haba is definitely no joke, and man, it's this is a very good matchup. I'm excited to see what happens here.
Doesn't
Um,
she have a crazy knockout too?
um, just Haba have a crazy knockout. I have a record here. Her last fight, she won with knees and punches in the third round. I can't picture that one, but I mean that is probably what you're talking about. I can't picture that in my head right now, but that it could be it.
Was that in KSW or no?
No, that was in Free Fight Federation. So,
Oh, okay.
so yeah. Either way, though, Justina Haba, I mean, and Carolina, both excellent prospects. And man, this fight is really, it's tough for me to pick, man. Just seeing what we've seen from Justina, and I mean, just seeing from both of them, and it's, I don't know, it's tough. I think it will come down to probably. I don't know. It's a really tough fight to pick. I was gonna say if Carolina wants to keep it on the feet because she really doesn't seem to care to do much striking anymore, and I mean she's winning on the ground, which is like why not take it there then? But and we've seen Haba controlled, of course, but by a very good grappler in Kana, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. But the way that Carolina finds some openings and her willingness to always attack with submissions is a very nice attribute that she has on the ground from what we've seen so far. Um, But yeah, at the same time, it's like then she has that boxing background in the back pocket, and if she wants to use it. But Haba, is very good technique too. Um, I don't know, man. This one's really tough for me to pick, and like I lean towards Haba a little bit just because of despite having the loss to Kana, it's like the competition there that she's fought in comparison slightly better. Of course, Shinju Eclair, we know her, another great prospect who we haven't seen in a while, but getting the win over her, nobody really saw that coming, even though in hindsight probably should, just because Haba has proven to be quite talented. So, man, I'm gonna take. I think Opchosh will find a submission. I was gonna say I was picking Haba before this, but I don't know. I feel like there will be a scramble point. She will catch something. She is very good at doing that. And I think it'll be a really fun fight up until that point, and it's gonna come late, third round, Opchosh submission, man, and she'll just keep growing that star. But I will not be surprised either way. This one is a really tough fight for me to pick, and I look forward to it. But I will go with Carolina.
Okay. Well, I'm going Justina Haba. I think that her strike. I think that her striking is much better. I think that she'll use it. As long as she doesn't get taken down, I think that she'll probably win the fight. Yeah, she should get a knockout.
Yeah, possible. Very
Second,
possible.
third round or so. Haba, you're talking about stars in the making. I think Haba's a star in the making.
Yeah, no, she could too. Yeah.
She's young. She's like 26 or something like that.
Let's see here. 29. Yeah,
she's 29.
Still.
But still, yeah.
Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Great nickname.
I love that nickname. Yeah, so we're divided on that fight. It could go either way.
I was legit gonna pick Haba before the show, but just thinking about it more switched me there. So
okay. Yeah, you got a little bit of a bias too.
A little bit. I mean, come on. It's so hard not to like Carolina. I'm biased saying that, but if you go and check out the chat I had, honestly, man, she's really cool. And yeah, check that out and check this fight out. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, Saturday night or
Saturday morning for us.
Early Saturday morning. Yep.
Early Saturday. I actually kind of really like the timing of KSW shows for us. They start at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
It's pretty good timing because it lines up right into UFC.
But UFC starts at like 1 p.m. for us.
Okay.
This card or something like that.
Well, shit.
I know.
Well, I'm going to have to flip back and forth because there's no way in hell that I'm missing the real main event, which is fucking, for some reason, the second or third goddamn fight on this fucking card.
Well, I mean...
absolute bullshit when you look at the other fights that are ahead of it.
This card is pretty not good. Like when you, oh my god,
Brian Ebersol.
They really don't have a picture of Murata.
Sons of bitches, man.
What?
First they bury her on the prelims, on the undercard, after she loses an opponent, and they put Brian Ebersol in her place. Not even Misha Tate. Fuck. See, that's what I rant about. I rant about stupid stuff while Steve has all the good rants.
Disrespect.
The absolute lack of respect. Insane.
Okay, so Random Marcos and Murata. It's a fun fight, right? It'll be a fun one, I think. And this card is not a stacked card whatsoever. So the beef about like placement of fights, it's warranted when it comes to this fight. This card is not good. Now that Felder's on the card, it's a lot better, I guess, but it's still not good.
I mean, yeah, it's not the best. I mean, honestly, this is the fight I'm most looking forward to. This is no surprise for anybody who knows me because Murata and Xiaonan, as we spoke about earlier, those are my freaking top twos right now. I'm so happy to see them fighting back-to-back weeks. What a treat for myself and you guys because they are fantastic fighters. I cannot wait for Kanako to get in front of the UFC audience. And yes, this is a great fight, but I hate it at the same time because Randa is one of my favorites too, my all-time favorites. So it really is shitty that one of them has to lose, and unfortunately, I think that is going to be Randa, and she is going to be released from the UFC afterwards because that would be her first three-fight losing streak. She would be 10. She's not 10-9-1. I hate how the UFC gives her an extra loss from the Ultimate Fighter or whatever it is, but like she's not going to be 10-10-1 after a loss here. But still, her
It's
record would get
terrible.
worse, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I think the matchup is better for Kanako than the Souza one, honestly, just because Randa is not as good of a, jiu-jitsu player as Livia Souza is. I mean, still, Randa has good submissions and all that, but just not the same, I don't think, as a black belt like Souza. And then on the feet, Souza's proven to be a little bit more powerful with her strike and everything, even though she's hasn't shined her brightest in the UFC yet. Randa, of course, is always a game for anybody. I mean, aside from that Claudia fight where she kind of shut down and everything, but can make it. I think she needs to make it a gritty fight on the feet because man, Kanako and that wrestling, it's just telling you guys she's already top three in the division. Right behind Carla Esparza or Tatiana. Some people even argue just as good as them. Um, so it's like I just think once she gets a hold of Randa, she could, throw her around, and that's it's crazy for me to say that too, because Randa is a very good, wrestler herself, and we've seen her, hang with the likes of, other wrestlers like let's say, Claudia, for example, and Carla, who she did beat and everything, even though, people think that was a pretty close one and everything, which it was, and think it should have went the other way and all that stuff. But Kanako, man, this is just her time. She's only getting better and better. I think she will find a submission, rear naked choke, or a Von Flu. I predict a Von Flu possibility because
She has like three of them, two or
she
three of them.
has back to back Von Flus. Kanako, Kanako is along with Oven St. Preux and Jason Von Flu himself. Those are the only three fighters in MMA history who have multiple Von Flu choke wins. Okay.
Doesn't she have an anaconda choke too?
Yeah, I think so. From one of her
She's
earlier Ryzen
she's
fights.
still legit, dude. She's still
Oh,
legit.
I love it. I love watching her fight, man.
Yeah, she's gonna wrap this shit up fairly quickly.
You think it'll be a quick one?
I think it'll be first or second round. Yeah, I don't think it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
goes three. Randa, I mean, she'll probably be the better. She should want to keep it on the standing up. She shouldn't
Yeah.
go in with Murata. She shouldn't try to take it to the ground. Murata will flip her ass and fucking choke her ass out. But I
She's
think that Murata,
deceivingly strong, I think, is what many would say.
yeah, for sure, she is definitely strong. I think that Murata probably wins it in the second round. I'm gonna go second round.
Yeah. Yep, I'm
Some
totally with you.
some kind of submission. I don't know if it'll be a Von Flu, but I think she'll maybe a rear naked choke or something like that.
Yep. Yep. We're totally on the same page here, man. It's a
Oh,
fucking
for sure.
bummer.
I mean, yeah. Again, Randa Marcos has been around for so long. You hate to see that kind. You hate to see it for her, but she took
At the
this
same
fight.
time, yeah, she took the fight, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's
she.
such a super potential bummer for Randa, but then it's actually, I mean, awesome for Kanako to get a UFC debut and all, but in terms of name
Yeah,
value, beating Randa, more
it would
people
be good
will
for her. Yeah,
recognize that. So,
it
and
would be
especially if
really good
she
for
can
her.
finish her. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, we're on the same page here. Round two submission for Kanako, and before we move on, quick little thoughts on does the short notice help or hurt Randa's potential her chances here?
I I think that she typically stays in fighting shape anyway.
Yeah,
She stays ready, so I don't think that it hurts her at all.
yeah. So, I mean, the
She's
best we
not,
can hope for is a great fight. So,
yeah, and I do think that it will probably be a fun fight. Randa Marcos is always in the fights. It's just that she gets finished sometimes. I mean, it's unfortunate for her, but that's just what happens.
Yep, that's the fight game.
That's
So
probably what's gonna happen this time too.
Kanako ain't no joke, everybody. I've been telling you. I've been telling you. If you haven't been watching, get
Yeah, no,
ready. Get
she
ready
really isn't.
in the comic Randa's expense. That's how it goes. So, yep, I am so amped for that. That is the real main event, everybody. And as we move on to
That is
more,
not the main event. The real main event is Paul
my main
Felder
event.
and Joe Santos. That is the main event. Um, so Ashley Yoder is taking on Miranda Granger, and you would think that Miranda Granger has an easy time in this fight, but she probably doesn't against Yoder, who is always in the fight, and she is very tough.
It's she's got the kind of the Betch and the Daniel Taylor effect, right? Where
Right.
so she just makes those fights closer than they
Then
really
they
should
could
be.
be. Right.
As we saw in really, her last so many fights. The Souza fight last time, the Randa fight before that, the ABC fight in 2018, the Dern fight, which she arguably should have won, like always close and that kind of thing. And she kind of really needs this win, I would say, with the two losses in a row, and then Miranda Granger coming in here after her first loss, and then she had the fight canceled against Nadia Kassem. Just had a lot of shit going on for that loss, a lot of bad things that led up to the Lemos fight, and no shame in losing to Lemos, of course, but yeah, in terms of, I said this on James Lynch's show. Shout out to James earlier this week. What was that, yesterday? I don't know what day it is anymore. Granger is just the better prospect and has higher upside at this stage. And I think, you know, is just
For
going to
sure.
just the better, more skilled fighter at the moment. I mean, striking, I think it's probably a little bit closer, but I don't know. Granger's just a grinder and great prospect still. But Yoder will just make it close because that's what happens with her. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to go against Granger, though. I will say
Yeah.
Granger unanimous decision. I don't think there'll be a finish.
Yeah. I mean, Granger should be able to finish this fight, but I don't think that it happens because Yoder is just so fucking tough, like durable and tough. She's incredibly difficult to finish. Just so hard of an opponent.
Yeah, yeah.
But Granger should be able to win this fight quite easily. Should be able to. It's just
Hmm.
not going to happen.
Yeah, it's that effect that some of these fighters have. But yeah.
But I
So
think
what's
I think we both think that Granger wins the fight. Probably unanimous decision. I would
Yep.
think, right?
Yep. That is my well. I mean, yeah, it could be a split, but I feel more confident
Yeah.
in I feel more confident in her, persuading the judges to have a clean sweep or something like that than, let's say, Aguilar versus Taylor. I feel like because Daniel Taylor still has a little bit more left, I think,
Yeah.
than let's say Ashley Yoder. But I don't know. Either way, I got to take just the fighter with the higher upside. So Miranda Granger and
Yep.
Washington represent. So all right, and the young guns.
Yeah. Kay Hansen and Corey McKenna. Corey McKenna, who we saw fight on. How do they have a picture of McKenna, but they don't? Probably because of Contender Series.
Yeah.
Who McKenna, who we saw not too long ago, fight on Contender Series. She
Yeah.
beat Demopoulos. But Kay Hansen is kind of a monster, and I don't think that this is going to be a good fight for McKenna whatsoever. I think that Hansen just puts it on her.
Yeah, I mean everything's really kind of coming into place for Kay Hansen. I mean, of course, we saw
She's a monster, dude.
she's a monster. We've seen that she's been a monster since really her debut. We've seen her whole career essentially since 2017.
Yeah,
Struggled in that first round against Jin in her last fight on the feet, but that's Jin, one of the greatest atomweights of all time, a veteran. No shame in that. Not big surprise. Not a big surprise. I don't think Corey McKenna will be able to do that same kind of thing there. And yeah, I mean, the momentum is definitely on Kay Hansen's side. 3 fight winning streak now. Really coming into her own. And I mean, just in terms of quality of competition and opponents and everything, the edge goes to Kay Hansen there. Just has fought better competition and, hung with them for the most part. Only has the 3 losses. Aaron Blanchfield, Magdalena Sormova in a very close fight, split decision there. Callie Schwartz in her second fight, but that one's obviously a while ago now. She's improving very quickly, I think, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if Corey McKenna should have been signed yet, just because it's kind of what we talked about last week with the prospects, where it's like, do they need to be signed yet? Like, sure, she's great and all that, probably be in the UFC one day, but do they need to do it now? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But in the end, yeah, I mean, we've just seen much more quality, I think, out of Kay Hansen to where, yeah, I gotta go with her. Don't know about a finish, but yeah, it should be a fun fight though. LS, I think Corey McKenna will put up a good fight, but not good enough to get the win. Kay Hansen will just be a little bit a step ahead in most positions, especially on the ground game. So Kay Hansen, unanimous for me. Pretty confident in that one.
Yeah, I think that she whoops the shit out of Corey McKenna. I just don't. I didn't think that McKenna should have gotten a contract to begin with. Um, I don't think that she even won the fight against Demopoulos, but here we are,
That's
and
right, yeah.
I think that Kay Hansen is probably gonna fucking murk this girl. It's not gonna be pretty. It just I don't think that it's gonna be a good one. Stamina said this fight could be a bit of a damp squib. Um, English for I don't know. Hansen being the blanket of death that she is, and Corey being tenacious but green. And then he added, but I think Hansen will stop her ultimately. Right. What? Can you answer me what a damp squib is, por favor?
So yeah, on the same page there with all the UFC fights here. So
Yeah, I think that these UFC fights this week are kind of an easy call for us. There are like more heavily favored fighters. I'm actually going to pull up the odds really quick. I know that they didn't have one of them.
yeah, they didn't have Kanako and Randa because of the late notice.
Rata and Marcos. There aren't any lines. Kay Hansen is a minus 220, and Corey McKenna is a plus 190. No, she is on Bovada. She's a 230, and McKenna is a 180. And then Miranda Granger is a minus 125, and Yoder is a 105. So actually, that's kind of a push. But Hansen, being the minus 230, is heavily favored.
Yeah.
And I think deservedly so. After what we saw against Fry.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess a closing note would be I'm a little I think that it is very much shown in what I've seen this week since Randa stepped in that so many people are ignorant about Kanako, and I'm seeing a lot of Randa picks here, which
Yeah. Yeah.
she of course, if anybody's gonna pull off an upset here, if anybody could pull off an upset against Kanako, that maybe shouldn't. I mean, I guess that she's the person to do it back against the wall and everything. But I mean, it's just tough, man. We talk about momentum a lot this episode. Kanako has got it. Um, I can't see it. I just can't see it, unfortunately, for Randa. But so yeah,
I agree.
UFC Vegas 14, and we have a squib answer coming in breaking news.
A squib is a fuse-like device used to light explosives, Steve. So a damp one doesn't do what it's meant to and is therefore a disappointment. It's a military term, somewhat archaic, I'll admit. Okay.
The
Thank
more
you,
you know.
thank you for I've heard the word squib. I had no idea
Squib kick.
what it meant though. I had
Football.
no idea what it meant. Um, okay, but before we go, there are 3 title fights in boxing. Main evented by Katie Taylor, Ireland's Katie Taylor, who is one of the best female boxers in the world. Um, that is coming up on Saturday morning. Saturday morning for us. I'm assuming Saturday evening for y'all Brits. Um, there are 3 title fights though. Katie Taylor is the main event. Um, that will be for the undisputed lightweight title, and then there's 2 other ones: WBA World Bantamweight title fight, and a WBC and IBO World Super Featherweight title fight. Good fights. Good fights. If you're into women's boxing, you should be into women's boxing. And by the way, Zuffa Boxing is returning. Zuffa Boxing is coming, doing their first show in December, I think 10th or 11th or something like that, with Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is a Zuffa boxer for this one fight.
Yeah, that
We'll
is
see how
definitely
that works
noteworthy.
out. Yep. So get behind the women boxers. Get behind those women boxers. They need y'all's help. Stamina ain't trying to see Taylor fight unless she stood across from Serrano. Eddie Hearn is on bullshit. Um, I, Stamina, I agree with you. And I did put out a tweet earlier today that any kind of mixture between Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, and Michaela Meyer would be amazing. I want to see Michaela Meyer fight either Taylor or Serrano. I really want to see one of those fights coming up. I hope. So anyway, what you got going on this week,
Oh
Drake?
boy, what do I have going on? So much. This has been a really stacked couple days, week, all that stuff, you guys. As I said earlier in the show with the cheap plugs, I spoke to Carolina Ovchach, of course. Check that one out before the fight. My MMA news on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs, on my Twitter at Drake Riggs underscore all that. Also spoke to Jessica Aguilar. Spoke to Thomas Narcoon, the KSW light heavyweight champion, before his fight this weekend as well. Let's see who else I'm probably forgetting. um, yeah, those are the ones that come straight to mind. But also working on Broaden Horizon episode 4. I have guest number 3. I was speaking to here in about 10 minutes, actually. And yeah, so working on that episode will be out hopefully next week, assuming I get everybody finished here. And I don't like to do spoilers and tell who is on the episode even after talking to him before it's out and everything. But I did put out a spoiler last night that I spoke with Tomo Maesawa
Yeah.
after the retirement fight and everything, and I just had to put a spoiler out there because it turned into something really kind of amazing and special that I didn't expect it to. Just hearing her talk about it all was it really caught me off guard and was a really cool conversation, you guys. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. Broaden Horizon episode 4 when it is out, hopefully next week before Ryzen 25 on November 21st for sure. Great lineup as always. So yeah, those are the immediate things. And I'm sorry to. Oh, well, Vanessa Porto. I don't know if I plugged that one last week, but also spoke to her recently. Of course, I have plugged that one before. But yeah, so those are all the recent ones. A lot of stuff going on. But yeah. So what about you, Steve? This MA Inks, did you get those done last week?
Yeah, actually, I should put it out pretty soon. Yeah, I'll put a couple out soon. Yeah. So if you don't
Very nice.
already subscribe to MMA Inc. here on YouTube,
Then what are you
uh,
doing? Then what are you
put it
fucking
into
doing?
that search and MMA Inc. It's the graffiti type of little what are those things? Thumbnail, I guess. Um,
You got to put the hat back on, dude. I love your hat that you have.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it on. Put it on next week.
There we go.
Yeah. So watch out for those, I guess. Until next week, Drake's got to go. Until next week, stay safe and stay sane. Have fun watching fights. Peace, y'all.
Peace.